here in our 3 warehouses in Peacham. And then obviously, I think, we'll keep it sort of really open, and if you've got any questions, just shout out. It's not formal. I apologise, this is a mechanical workshop, so we're low on glasses, we're low on low alcohol beer. So I feel really bad that we haven't put on a cheese spread for you. It's keeping things authentic here at the workshop. So yeah, shout out any questions. At the end, you've got any questions. Shane, who's our head of electrical engineering, he's the smart guy. I'm the pretty guy that does a little bit of car stuff. And Shane's schooling me a lot on electrical engineering, as is Michael Day, who's been working with us over the last year or so, helping us on our journey, which has been really appreciated. So I'll try to keep this reasonably short, but my background is in advertising and marketing, and I got a little bit tired of that, a little bit sick of that, but I love old cars and I love old motorbikes, and I left advertising after 30 years and went, I want to do something different. And I've been following the EV space, as we all have, for quite a while, and find it really exciting on so many levels. A love of old cars is a disease. So it's amazing. And the other great thing is old cars bring people together. And they're all different kinds of people. Different socio-economic groups, different ethnic groups, different ages, different sexes. If you've got the car bug, you've got the car bug. And I love that about the car industry. But sometimes old cars are really difficult. They break down. Something will happen and they'll start. Something's going wrong. And if you haven't been under a car for most of your life, it's hard to know why it's not starting. Is it electrical? Is it fuel? What's going on? And we were talking earlier about sometimes the driving in a classic car can be stressful. It's hot. The car's overheating. The car in front of you is not moving. And you're like, come on! My car's going to cook, or you get in and it won't start. So the thing that I love about electric cars is it makes classic cars more accessible to people. So younger people that probably aren't mechanical but love the look and the feel and want to keep these cars on the road, get in, push a button and it's going to go. It's easy to maintain. There are less moving parts, there's less moving things to go wrong. So it makes owning a classic car more accessible to a lot of people who have fallen in love with cars. Now they may have fallen in love because they grew up in that car and they finally want one, or they love the style of the car, or they love the fact that people smile and just give them a thumbs up. Whenever I'm driving an old car, it makes me happy because people are like, they appreciate it and they're looking at you going, that's great. If we can do that and save the environment, I think it's great. So I left into this space because I love old cars, and went, surely that can't be too hard. There's some people that come doing it. And we're 2 years down the path, and those 2 years for us here at Electrogusto, which has been full time, been dabbling in a little bit of advertising just to pay the rent, but those 2 years have been a long journey of learning and finding our partners. So finding all the best quality parts, basically manufacturing some of our own parts, designing them, getting them CNC in China, 3D printing things, doing all that sort of stuff, so that we've got all the skills in-house. Shane's come on full time. Shane's been here on the journey for about a year and a half, part-time now, full-time as an electrical engineer. So that journey for us has been really long. And we thought, okay, we'll buy all the parts, put it together, it'll be easy. But it's easy because you're taking out a petrol motor and you're taking out a fuel tank. But it's also very different because there's lots of different moving parts. There's things like, okay, the heater in here, and I'm probably telling you all things that you already know, but things like, okay, this car used the heat from the engine for the demister. So what are we going to do there? Because we have to change that. So there's all those sort of things, and then there's doing things properly, so it's safe. You know, there's a lot of electricity in there. We don't want any high voltage cables running underneath the car. So we've sort of prided ourselves on doing things really, really well, because we've got a business here. We don't want people going, hang on, something's broken, or there's a cable underneath and it wasn't done properly and something's hit it, or anything like that. This is a serious business. It's exciting and it's fun, but there's a lot of safety involved. So we've prided ourselves on spending that 2 years on actually learning how to do everything really, really well, finding the best parts and having safety and design top of mind. There's a lot of really great companies in Australia doing this now, and that's the other thing that's fantastic. There's a real collegial vibe going on in the industry. You know, we talk regularly with the guys from John/Felton, Traction EV. There's lots of fantastic people who are sharing knowledge and helping each other in a way, which is also really lovely. So we built this as our first car. We've got 2 more of these in a warehouse up there. We've got a couple of other cars coming in that we want to repeat, but a lot of our business now, we've sort of been under the radar. We haven't really promoted our business until we've had something where we can go, we've got it, we can do it, we've got the skills, we've got the parts, we've got the contacts. So we're just now popping our head up and talking to customers, and we've got a really wide range of different kinds of customers coming to us. We've got a beautiful old Citroen H5 van, really old corrugated vans from France that are absolutely beautiful. So we're talking to somebody that's running a gelato business that bought one, probably struggling to work out how to run it because the engine's terrible. So we're talking to somebody that wants to do a 1980s convertible Mercedes for their 16-year-old daughter. So talking to someone today who wants to do a Fiat 500 wagon that they bought, which was the first car that they ever owned, and now they've grown up, got a bit of money, and they go, I want to buy another one, but they've got another one, and they want to electrify it. So we've got lots of different kinds of customers coming to us. So our business is kind of, I suppose it pivots and evolves depending on our customers, but I think our vision is to do some of our cars step and repeat. So once you've done it, the first one is so much easier to do another one because you've measured everything out, you know where the battery boxes go, and again I'm probably telling you guys something that you already know. But so we've got a few of these. We brought in some Mercedes G-Wagons from the Singapore military that we love, that we're going to be converting them and offering them to customers. But I sort of get the feeling that our business is going to be probably 40% our vehicles that we do and on sell, because there's still a lot of people going, I want a classic, I don't know what it is, can you help me? And then we've got a lot of people going, I love this car, can you convert it? So we'll do some of our own cars, but then we're now talking to lots of different people about electrifying their cars. I suppose for us as a business, the challenge is sticker shock. You know, all the parts are quite expensive. The batteries are expensive, motors are expensive. The time to engineer everything, it's a giant jigsaw puzzle. Where does everything go? The weight distribution, where do you channel everything? How's your cooling system work? All of that sort of stuff. And how does it marry beautifully with the original car? It takes a lot of time. So unfortunately, it's an expensive exercise. You know, we're talking to people about $60,000 to $80,000 to convert a car, and for a lot of people, sadly, that's not achievable. But as our industry moves forward and batteries get cheaper, parts get cheaper, I'm really excited that it's going to become something that's way more accessible for people, so they can go, I love that car, I want to keep driving it, I want my kids to be able to drive it, and then we can convert those cars. I also think in our future, the government will probably go, you can't drive that. I love old stinky petrol cars, I've got a few of them. The government's probably going to get to a point at some stage you go, there's going to be a tax on that, we don't want it on the road, and rightly so, we've got to do something about the environment. And I think it would be really, really sad that if you were on the road and everything looked like a fridge, had no soul, had no personality. It may even be that this new industry is going to be the new dawn of beautiful design. You know, I hear about Volkswagen have developed a platform. You can pretty much put everything on top of it. It's got all the running gear, it's got batteries, it's got everything there. So you may get young car designers going, I'll design a car that sits on that chassis, whether that's a van or a sports car or a four-wheel drive or whatever it is. So I think it's going to be really, really exciting. You know, I think there's been a lot of people, I'm talking to quite a few of you that were doing this 20 years ago and electrifying cars a long time ago. So we're by no means trailblazers or new, but I also think we're at a really wonderful crossroads where people are wanting to talk about it, they're really interested in doing it. We have the parts, we have the skills, we have people have the experience, and so I think it's going to be a really, really exciting space. So that's a bit better.
And I thank you. So for those that haven't met me yet, I'm Jamie Lovett. I'm the New South Wales Secretary of the DAVA, Electric Vehicle Association. And Nick has been gracious enough to invite us in. I chased him down late last year to see if he was happy to have us. So I appreciate everyone's come along today and being able to listen to Nick here. Actually, just one thing you mentioned there about sort of the ability to keep old cars. There are some discussions going on at the moment, particularly in New South Wales, about being able to register electric vehicle conversions on historical plates.
Classic plate.
Yes, the club registration. You need to find a club who's willing to accept that. But RMS has said, if you can find a club, we'll register it.
Oh, really?
Well, you know, there's still some there.
What they've said, if the car is compliant with the blue slip,
Yep.
and it has a convincible engineering certificate,
Yep.
you can get it registered on what do they call it, CES plate. But there are clubs that are associated with the Wollongong Club, a whole lot of them that won't take them. So you've got to, as you say, you've got to find a thing. But I've just confirmed. The RTA got the latest statement from the, it's not the RTA, it's Transport
RMS.
Yep, sure.
Yep.
They've said as long as it's got a blue slip and an engineer certificate, you're fine.
If you've got a club who's doing so.
Yes.
I've got 4 or 5 vehicles on historic registration. It's amazing, obviously.
Well, the one outside will have to go to, he's on 8 plates, he'll have to go to, what do they used to? They're on the D plates now.
That's right.
That's historic radio, the one outside.
But what's a D plate?
It means that
Modified.
it's a modified car.
Ah, right.
You'll get paid $47 a year.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the same price, same idea, but the H plates and J plates are for original historic
Right.
cars, unmodified cars. But that's the crux of what you're saying, is that because it's modified electric, a lot of clubs won't register. But that's what he's saying about these D plates. It's for modified old vehicles.
So
But you still need to be
the
in the club.
main point is
Yeah, it's not
it's
gonna be
going
enough,
to get easier.
But a lot of clubs just don't accept it.
I think that's
So
really
it's
interesting
like
because
a
I
rally
think a
club,
lot
it's a
of
rally
our
car,
customers,
rally car
it's
modified,
not
so
your own car.
you can get
So I think when it's not your own car,
Yes.
That's almost a
We don't get rid of the sticky stuff and have it be more
because
reliable.
we are being told that
Over the weekends.
yeah.
Sorry?
yeah.
That all popped in my head just as I said it.
There are unmodified car clubs out there,
Yeah.
so whether or not there's
It's only been just for a couple of years. It's got a page.
Yeah. There's some other challenges around motorsports, but we probably won't touch on those today. Thank you again for everyone coming. We're basically sort of booked up the next time until about 7:30. If anyone's interested in dinner, we've organised. We've got a reservation up in Shipwreck Stereo, I think it is, just up on Northern Street. And yeah, that's booked for 8 p.m. So if anyone's hungry afterwards, we'll be heading up there. But in the meanwhile, feel free to ask these guys questions. And of course, keep an eye out on the Ava website. We send emails, and also Facebook if you're on social media. Keep in touch. We're always interested in hearing what you guys are interested in. So thank you.
So yeah, any questions that we can, or before I do, just Shane, is there anything you want to add?
Oh, I think you covered all the bases, really. That was a good job.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the technical specs, if you wouldn't mind, like what batteries you got, what chemistry, what voltage, what motor you have, what controller you have.
It's probably a very familiar concept or layout. Yeah, so we have 5 Tesla modules. They're the S Performance, this is 6.2 module,
Yeah.
so it's 30 kilowatt hour photo.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6.2 times like 5. So there's 3 in the front. So they're 23 volts each. So 23 is
Those ones are marked down, but they're the same as the ones that are
correct.
So what's the total voltage of the
Yep, so
battery?
it's about 120 volts.
120.
Yeah, it's
So 120 is the total voltage.
Correct, 23 times by 5. Yeah.
But that means then you can't use the standard. What sort of charger then do you use for it?
We just use a single phase JC 172.
Oh,
Yeah, 16 amp charger, yeah.
Alright.
Alright, so
And the electric motor, what are you using?
Yep.
What controller, please?
so we have the net gain, the low voltage battery, the 100 volt, 100 volt motor, sorry.
Yeah.
And the controller is just the ACX1, the SME one. Yep.
Yeah, right.
So it's a DC motor?
No, AC series. Yeah.
AC motor? Three phase?
Yep.
Three phase.
Yes, yes. Correct.
So 3 phase 100 volts is what you're saying?
No, so it's DC.
AC from AC, right? 3 phase. AC.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, so you've got an inverter in there, right?
That's correct. Yep.
So what's the voltage of the AC?
240.
240.
Yeah.
So yeah, DC.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the power of the AC?
Of the motor, so it's
Yeah.
120 horsepower, 240 newton meters. I think it's 88 kilowatt.
88 kilowatts.
Yeah.
88 kilowatts. Alright.
Do you have an inverter to run the 12 volts?
Yep, so we have a DC-DC.
Yeah.
So it's not an inverter, but it takes
Yeah.
100 volts from
Yeah,
the
that's
main
right.
battery and steps it down to 12 volts.
Yeah, my Insight has the same, yeah.
Yep.
I noticed you've still got the gear lever in there. You still got the gear connected?
If I go to the back, we'll talk about everything in the motor side. Right? Sorry, I'll squeeze through. Right, everyone can see. So this is where the original motor was in this vehicle. People are not familiar with it. So everything from the gearbox back is all factory. It's a transaxle gearbox, so it just runs the rear wheels. So we replace the petrol motor there. It's going to adaptively to the factory gearbox. So you don't actually have to use the gearbox, you don't have to use the clutch. The vehicle's not moving when it's stationary, so you don't have to put your foot on the clutch. The motor's not moving. If that makes sense. Yep. So on the left here we have that DC-DC, which is like your alternator in your normal car that charges your 12 volt battery. We still retain the 12 volt battery, which runs all your lights, your indicators, anything 12 volt. This is your coolant pump for your motor. It's got a radiator which sits underneath, and cooling fans which turn on at a certain temperature when it gets hot. And that's your charger, your AC charger. So the charge port is actually where the original fuel cap is. So that takes your AC from the wall.
This is single phase or 3 phase?
Single phase. So that takes your AC single phase and converts it to your DC.
That's the
100 volts.
battery, right? To supply the
There's
motor,
2.
right?
Yes, correct. 2 here, 3 in the front.
Oh.
Those are Tesla batteries?
Correct. Yeah.
So what is the top voltage of 100 watts?
They're 120 volts total. 23 volts per series.
And what are you using for your braking system? Still using the original?
Yeah, braking is all original, but it has obviously the regen support from the motor.
Regenerator.
Yeah, correct.
So is it hydraulic or electric?
The regenerative braking.
The braking system is it
Booster.
Hydraulic. Manual brakes, yeah.
Manual brakes.
Correct, yep.
And you feed that with the electric. That how they do it? Yeah.
Charge your battery with electric.
Yeah, that's it.
What's that? Sure.
Yeah, with the sensor. Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah,
Correct.
okay.
Charges the main batteries, correct.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So,
And I missed what you were saying about the transmission. The transmission's still in there?
correct, yeah. So it uses the factory, so Next had it rebuilt. It's the factory V-dub gearbox that came in this vehicle.
Okay. So
we've done is
adjustable
we've
there,
taken-
would you just leave it in the one gear all the time?
Yeah, so it's been driving around just in third.
In third?
Yeah, yeah. So you can leave it in third. These brake at about 8,000 RPM. It's still maintained 90% efficiency.
And what range roughly can you expect to get from these batteries?
We've yet to really do a full range test, but I think we can expect about 150 k's easily, comfortably.
Comfortably?
Yeah.
That's now pure down to zero.
Yeah, exactly. And driving. Going to go further back towards